Hey there, my name is Miranda Kingsley and I'm a 24-year-old student at Stanford University, which happens to be located approximately 7 miles from my parents' 6,000 square foot home in the Los Altos Hills. I was born and raised here in California. My father a neurosurgeon, mother a housewife, 2 dogs, 1 cat, swimming pool, tennis court, you get the picture. You probably recognize my name from the tabloids because I was dating a certain famous actor for the past year. Poor guy. He honestly never told me that he had intentions of proposing to me, and I didn't know he was going to leak that info to the press last Friday. And by then, it was way too late. You see, I had already started dating an even more famous film director and was trying to figure out how to tell Taylor, or rather the actor. Don't let me go too far off topic because I do have a tendency to ramble. It's kind of a problem with me because I do live a very interesting life. I just don't know how much of it people want to hear about. Let me give you an example of what I mean. There was this one time I was telling the old maids, which is what I call my mother and her friends, I was telling them about the time I had just gotten my boobs done. I was on a flight to LA, and the older man next to me was so captivated by me that it literally made him queasy. I realized that I have a striking face, but I wasn't used to having these double Ds, and I had no idea just how much more desirable that made me. I was wearing a very low-cut shirt, the kind I used to not be able to wear when I was flat-chested. Anyway, the combination of my face, my long blonde hair, and my super tight jeans must have just been too much for the poor guy because 20 minutes into the flight, he puked on my shoe. I continued to tell the old maids that the worst part about it was I was wearing my favorite Juicy Couture flip-flops and how the squishy puke got all between my toes. Your typical girl talk type story, right? Well, apparently the old maids didn't think it was appropriate at a 7-course chain dinner. My bad. So yeah, I kind of ramble sometimes, sorry. Let's get to the day of the incident. After finals, I had been spending most of that Friday trying to stay away from bad press. And I was trying to win people over by snapping selfies out by my pool and hot tub and posting them on Insta. This creepy girl, Jill from my science class, was systematically liking every one of my pics. I have 2.7 million followers on Insta. I had no idea she was even one of them. It was kind of grossing me out though. It was serious creeper status how she would like my pics at almost the same second that they were posted. Some people are so attention starved. She sees me like every day and never says anything to me on campus. Come to think of it, I don't think she said anything to me since middle school. I always catch her looking at me though, and I seriously don't know if she's a dyke now or just lonely or what, but ew. Anyway, it creeped me out to the point where I stopped posting selfies on Insta and decided to scope instead. It was about 10 p.m. and I was in my hot tub when I finally decided to scope. I swear I was only broadcasting for 30 seconds and I see her name in my scope. Jill Disler, 2005. I don't like to block people because when you're trying to get 1 million followers on Scope, every person counts. And I suppose she has just as much right as anyone else to watch my Scope, so I just ignored her. Yes, even though she was the only one giving me hearts, I was ignoring her skinny, greasy face. I started taking the Scopers on a tour of my house in hopes of getting on everyone's good side, when Jill's first message appeared. "Hey Miranda," she said, but I pretended not to see the message. Instead, I began shaming the open Bob zombies in all their splendor. Oh, I forgot. You probably don't know what an open Bob zombie is. Okay, when you're a hot girl, especially one with big boobs, and you're scoping, these idiots from all over the world will type open bobs over and over again in your broadcast. Why? Because someone in whatever stupid country they're from told them it meant show your boobs. So I tried to educate them. I'm like, I can't very well open Bob's because I don't know anyone named Bob, nor would I open him. And seriously, what would I even open him with? One of my dad's scalpels? Jill chimed in again. "You stupid idiots, open Bob's isn't even proper English," she typed, and I ignored her again. Over the next couple of minutes, Jill said a few more things, but I didn't pay any attention to what was said. Instead, I was catching flack from the 5,000 people watching my broadcast. They were all giving me shit for breaking up with Taylor, or rather, the actor. One girl even told me that I should go kill myself. People are ridiculous. Through all of the "fuck you, you dumb whore," and "open Bob's" messages, I did manage to see one of Jill's next chat bubbles. It said, "Miranda, I still have your gold frog." "Frog?" I blurted out, and I pondered for a second, wondering what the hell she was even talking about. People in the room, thinking they were responding to me, were saying things like, "You're a fucking frog, the way you hop from one bed to the next, you two-timer." And "Miranda the slimy frog is giving everyone in Hollywood warts." I yelled to everyone in the room, "Shut up! Jill, what frog are you talking about?" The hecklers in the room continued. "Miranda is a wart frog," one guy said. Another said, "I love frog legs." Then the zombies started saying different variations of their favorite request. "Open legs, open frog legs, open warts." "Leave Miranda alone," Jill yelled out in all caps. "She saved my life when I was 13 years old," she boasted. "Miranda's a good person." I had no idea what Jill was even talking about. I have never saved anyone's life. Not then, not now, not ever. She continued, "No one has ever touched my heart the way Miranda has, and for that I am forever grateful." Most of the indecent comments in my broadcast ceased. Confused, I just stood there with a smile on my face, twirling my hair with my free hand. I had no idea why Jill was telling such beautiful lies about me, but it was shutting people up. So I tried to play along. "Why aren't you defending your character, Miranda?" Jill asked, and then demanded, "Tell them about it." I'm not so good on my toes when it comes to lying, so I simply said, "I think it would sound best coming from you, Jill. Why don't you tell the story?" The broadcast grew completely still. I'm just sitting there twirling my hair for what seems like an eternity, and in my mind I was thinking, what should I do? Maybe I should just end the broadcast and feign like I lost my connection in a later broadcast. Or I could drop my phone on purpose, making it look like an accident to create a diversion. Finally, a paragraph popped into the room. It was from Jill, and it read, "When I was 13, I was on the verge of suicide. My dad was the only person that ever really loved me, and he had recently died, leaving me with my brother and my crazy mother, who was insane and extremely abusive. My brother was 7 years older than me and decided one day that he would start sneaking into my room almost every night and do unspeakable things to me. The only escape was being at school, but even that was a living hell, because most of the other kids teased me, picked on me, and sometimes would beat me up." Jill paused to type some more, and I thought to myself, holy shit, this is really awesome and disgusting bullshit. Well, most of it was bullshit. Actually, the kids at school were really shitty to her. More of Jill's words came into the scope. On Friday, January 14th, 2005, I had just completely had enough. I was about to overdose on some of my mom's psych meds when I got a phone call from Miranda herself. Never in my life had Miranda even spoken to me, and here she was, seriously calling me as I'm about to commit suicide. Go Jill, I thought to myself while reading her barrage of beautiful BS. Just before Jill could append to her story, some guy in the room asked, "What was Miranda calling you for, Jill?" I couldn't wait to hear what Jill was going to make up. Jill responded, she was inviting me to her 13th birthday slumber party. "Do you remember, Miranda?" "Oh, damn," I said. "I actually do remember that. I really did remember this. Greasy-faced Jill Dissler did sleep over at my place one time." Well, my parents forced me to invite her. All my friends were so pissed off. But anyway, she continued to tell the people watching me how, because she was heavily abused, that she just wanted to end it all, and that somehow my call was her saving grace, and how it gave her some sort of reason to live another day. It was so weird. Some of the stuff she was saying about the past was based on reality. I started to share in telling this story with her, the parts that I remembered anyway. I added, my birthday is actually the 12th, but it fell on a Wednesday that year, so I waited until the weekend to celebrate it. Jill stated, I had never seen one person receive so many presents in my life. The frog, Miranda, tell them about the golden luck frog. The golden luck frog did ring a bell, but I still wasn't sure what she was talking about. No, you tell them, I said. She posted, Miranda received a 24-karat gold sculpture of a frog by someone. It was about an ounce of gold, and it was the cutest thing I had ever seen. I love frogs. I remember that frickin' thing, I said. Didn't I give that to you, Jill? Yes, she typed in all caps. The night of your slumber party, when everyone was asleep on the floor next to all of your open presents, I had a nightmare. I seriously had them every night, and they were always about my abusive situation and about missing my dad. I started to cry in my sleep, and you came over to me. You asked me what was wrong and actually tried to comfort me. Not since my dad has anyone ever tried to comfort me. I started to tell you about my situation at home, but you cut me off with a gift. The golden luck frog! Oh my god, I really remember, I said in disbelief. I told you the golden luck frog would protect you and keep you safe. Jill continued. And it did, Miranda. After you gave him to me, my situation changed. My mother went to an institution, my brother went to jail, and I went to a wonderful foster family. I continued getting good grades and got accepted to Stanford. Anyway, I want to give you back the golden luck frog, since you're going through hard times. I said, That's sweet of you, Jill, but it's not necessary. Jill replied, Please let me return the favor, Miranda. It's right next to me on my nightstand. Right then, the room started to swarm with hateful comments. Things like, It's a gift, bitch, and how rude are you, Miranda? An old friend is reaching out to you and you're just gonna deflect it? Another person wrote, You just go through life hurting everyone, don't you? First Taylor and now Jill. Bitches like you are the reason so many people don't trust each other anymore. In my head, I was screaming, Fuck! I am so obligated to go to this girl's place for this stupid frog that I never even wanted in the first place. But I just kept a smile on my face and every once in a while would tilt my head in concern. Okay, I said. That's too sweet for me to pass up. I'll come by your place for the golden luck frog. You inherited your dad's house, right, Jill? Yes, Miranda, hurry, she replied. My scopers wanted to watch the reunion, so I kept broadcasting as I grabbed my keys off of the counter and headed for the garage. I hopped into my Audi, opened the garage door, and flew down out of my driveway. I got over near her dad's old house and then had to ask her for directions. I had reached the street that she lives on, which crosses just before a dead end. Is it a left or a right on Alena Road? I asked. She replied, Left, please hurry. I made a left and within seconds came upon Maple Leaf. I hung another left, spoke unsuspectingly. Weird. Jill, there's a beat-up old white van in front of your gate. Look. I flipped the view on my camera to show her and everyone else the van. Just as I did that, a guy saw my headlights and hopped over her gate. My broadcast flooded with messages. Call the cops. That was shady. Call 911. Back out of there, Miranda. And one message that said, Save Jill's life again, Miranda. Call the police. I backed out of Maple Leaf, drove back onto Alena, and drove a good distance from her house as I was calling 911. I explained the situation to the 911 operator and stayed on the phone with her until the police arrived. I could ever so slightly hear the police searching the area, lights illuminating the dark and desolate night sky. About 3 minutes later, I hear in the distance, "Freeze!" And then, bang! Holy shit, a gunshot. The 911 operator told me that another officer was on his way to me to take a report. Then I started hearing a bunch of sirens approaching from the distance. It wasn't long before the entire street was a circus of cops, dogs, paramedics, and I even remember seeing the fire department there. Anyway, I was giving my report to the police officer, who was kind of cute, I might add. I asked if Jill was okay, and I told him that most of the incident was caught on my scope broadcast. He asked me to go with him to the scene so we could better sort this out. As we arrived to Jill's gate, which was now open, I could see her out front in the driveway, wrapped in a blanket and being questioned by the police. I was relieved to see that she was alive, but still had no idea what was going on. "Jill!" I yelled. "Are you okay?" She glanced over but couldn't see me through all of the police lights. I asked to go see her and they told me I could, but to be calm because she was still in shock and disoriented. I walked over to her and she finally looked at me and said, "Miranda? Miranda Kingsley, is that you?" As if she had no idea what I was doing there. "Yes," I replied. "I'm the one who called the cops, remember?" A detective said, "She was woken up by the gunshot when we shot the intruder." "Woke up?" I said. "No, she's been chatting with me on my scope for the past 45 minutes. Most of this is saved and visible as a rebroadcast." Jill interrupted me and spoke with a puzzled tone. "Miranda, I have been asleep since 5 p.m. I had a rough day with finals. I was sound asleep when they shot Eric." "Eric, your brother?" I said with a tremor in my voice. "I thought he was in jail or prison." She said, "So did I until these nice gentlemen just told me that he escaped last night." Just then the paramedics came outside to inform all of us that Eric didn't survive his gunshot wound. Almost immediately after that, another officer announced that he had found some items in the beat-up old van. Rope, tape, a few hunting knives, a small hatchet, a hacksaw, some chloroform, and a change of clothes. The cute cop that was questioning me earlier asked, "What was this about scope in your broadcast?" I pulled out my phone, and as I was flipping through scope, I explained the whole scenario. I was lounging by the hot tub. Jill and I were talking, the golden luck frog, etc. And here, this is my rebroadcast titled "Lounging by My Hot Tub." We clicked on it, and most of the broadcast was there, but the parts where Jill and I spoke to each other were like cut out. Like fucking edited out. What the fuck? Okay, we get to the part where I saw the van in front of the place, and only one message was revealed by the username Jill Disler 2005. And the message read, "Save Jill's life again, Miranda. Call the police."